Hey everyone, and welcome to the College Guy Sports Podcast. Today is our NBA edition. Now, this is our first NBA podcast, so we're pretty excited for this one. I'm your host, Ryan Weiss, and today my co-host is Wanly Leger. How you doing, Wanly?
What's up, Ryan?
How's it going, man? I haven't seen you in a while.
I know, man. Well, you know, we keep texting every day, but we haven't seen each other for real.
Yeah, it's been a while. Happy to finally do this podcast with you. So today, our first NBA podcast that we're hope to do weekly. I got some big topics to touch on. The whole Blake Griffin news. You had All Stars coming out, and maybe some trade topics. But let's start with the Blake topic. And if people haven't heard by now, Blake Griffin got into a fight with his friend, who's the equipment manager for the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, my thing is, if he wasn't an equipment manager, would we really be having this big flip out about he punched an employee? It's like his best friend. If me and you got into a fight at a restaurant, I don't think people would care at all. But if you like worked under me, if I was the boss and your manager, then it'd be a problem with our job.
Yeah.
So I see how that's a problem there. But I mean, first of all, what's your whole feeling about just the situation? Just no basketball situation.
Dude, it's Blake, man. Man, come on. He has issues. Like, it's Griffin. Come on. We all know who. Come on. He tries to fight like half the guys in the league anyways. He's the biggest pest in the league.
Yeah, he's him and Garnett are those guys who just But at least Garnett has At least Garnett has the time back, and people still aren't afraid of Blake.
Yeah.
How do you think it's gonna affect the Clippers on the court?
I mean, people are saying that they're better without him, but I don't buy that BS.
Yeah, I mean teams when they start out, like they did last year without Blake. You had DeAndre go for those 2020 games all the time, but DeAndre looked great. It probably helped him get a max contract. He was a max contract player before, most likely, but even with that stretch, really cemented it. But that happens to a lot of teams when they lose a star player. They always like come together for a little. It's only like a 2-week thing after that, but after that, that's when they start showing the effects of not having the team.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
weren't they like their first 10 games were against teams that are like under 500.
Yeah, they have not played any good teams lately. They have played a bunch of tomato cans. I think it was actually 11 games that they didn't have anyone worth a damn break.
Like, come on.
I
still don't feel like he's like the perfect fit for that team, but he's still
Yeah, our boy Woj had a thing about that. We'll get into a little bit later. But right now the Clippers are 32-16. And they're about 7th in the league in points per game. Blake's played 30 games. He's averaging 23 points a game, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Those are great numbers. But that's normally what Blake does. DeAndre this year is probably having his best year. One of our favorite writers, Zach Lowe, had him as an all-star. DeAndre's averaging 12 points, 14 boards, and 2 blocks. And his defensive field goal percentage, he's allowing 45% to shoot on him, which is slightly above the league average. He's got the defensive efficiency rating that's slightly above average, but he's got the best in the league when it comes to defensive field goal percentage closer than 6 feet. I'm sorry, closer than 6 feet. He's on 52%, which is pretty good, and that's why he's a max player. Now he had the 2020 games a lot when Blake was gone last year.
Yeah.
So far in January, obviously Blake didn't play. He had a pretty much 2.2 increase across the board. He had his points per game average increased by 2, his rebounds increased by 2, and his minutes increased by 2. That's not a big minute thing, but it catches up eventually.
Let me ask you this. All right, I'm gonna give you this scenario. You take Drummond off of Detroit, put him in LA, put DJ in Detroit.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Stan's
DJ's in Detroit.
If DJ's in Detroit, they don't have – because Stan's system is totally based off the big man eating and feeding, all those rebounds and being able to dominate people. You can't give DeAndre the ball he's not going to be able to. He's not going to suck in all those defenders, so he has all the shooters wide open around the arc to have the wide open shots. It's just not going to happen. And if you have DeAndre on the thing, but if you stick Andre on the Clippers, they're maybe not immensely better because he's not the same rim protector, but still.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. He's going to ask DJ to just, pick and roll. That's it.
DJ can't pick and roll.
DJ pick and roll. That's how he makes his bread and butter.
He picks and roll because he has the best point guard in the past 10 years with him. If he had Reggie Jackson, if he had Reggie Jackson, who I like but you hate, he would not be doing the same thing.
That is true. I mean, but if Van Gundy will put them in it, Van Gundy will make it work in that system.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but like I think let's go back to the reality with where DJ is on the Clippers. I don't see the bench is going to need to step up. They really needed the bench this year, and we went into the year thinking their bench was really improved after possibly like the worst bench ever in NBA history last year.
Goodness.
The year started, they had Josh Smith, Wes Johnson, Paul Pierce, Luka Trbot-Mute, Cole Aldridge, all these other guys who are vastly improvements. And you laugh at Cole Aldridge, but he is really an improvement over what they had last year on the bench. But
no, I'm laughing about Luke.
Oh, Luke, yeah, your boy Luke. We have gone after sometimes, but yeah, they couldn't keep Josh Smith. He was having shouting matches with Doc Rivers in the locker room, and they trade him for literally nothing. Trade him for rights to a player overseas who's probably never ever gonna come over, and if he did, he would just sit on the bench for a year and then be out of the league again. Man, do you think their bench is going to be able to obviously Blake will be back for the playoffs, but do you think the bench will be able to keep them afloat and have them not fall towards that 7 or 8 seed?
No way. I don't see them I can't see them being San Antonio. I can't see them being Golden State. And there's no way I can see them being OKC.
Yeah, I don't see them being any of those other teams either, but if they would have got the production out of Josh Smith, Jamal Crawford, and those other guys, I thought there'd be a chance, but the bench has been disappointing again this year, which we thought would be a lot better. So it's just like, man, GM Doc is so bad at his job.
Oh my God.
I didn't like him when everyone gave him the props in Boston before they won the title, like when they were saying, oh, as soon as they made the trade for the big three, like, oh, Doc's got this. Doc's going to be – I was like, what is – I'm like, Doc had a few nice teams in Orlando, but what has he ever done to really have this faith in everyone? And, like, now he's still a good coach, but GM Doc needs to – I don't know.
Dude, he inherited, the deepest team in the league. Come on, Bledsoe was your backup point guard.
Yeah, and
you have all these pieces.
And then he tried to say that – look at the roster he inherited when he got there. Oh, you mean like the 3 All-Stars? And then, get out of here, dude.
I mean, come on. I mean, all right. Did he have Dudley on that team?
Yeah, he did. They traded Bledsoe for Dudley, and they couldn't make Dudley work, and they got rid of him after a year.
Yeah, and Dudley went to Milwaukee, just had a great year.
He was important for them on that team. Yeah, Doc's got a – and then they trade for Lance, which I thought was a really good trade at the time because, Spencer Hawes, that was – let's not even get to last year when they signed Spencer Hawes for their mid-level exception instead of Paul Pierce, when Paul Pierce was great and an important player for Washington down the stretch, and Spencer Hawes wasn't even playing in the playoffs. And Matt Barnes Matt Barnes just shot so bad in the playoffs as well. I can't believe they even beat the Spurs.
Dude, if it wasn't for that crazy, layup Chris Paul made, they wouldn't win that series. Yeah,
I remember watching because that was a night of the Pacquiao Mayweather fight, and that was on before the fight, and I really didn't think they were gonna pull it out because the Clippers. But I mean, as bad as GM Doc is, at least he's not like Elgin Baylor, and they're just bad because they're bad.
No. Yeah, he's not.
Like people
I
try
to say
to.
he's like.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. He's not like he's like people say like the Sixers are a disgrace to the league and everyone else who try to tank because they're bad but they're bad for the sake of trying to get better. When Elgin Baylor and Sterling were running the Clippers for however long it was, they were trying to be good and they just couldn't win like 20 games a year. They were that bad.
That was a disaster, man. That was awful.
Like they got year after year was nothing but high draft pick after high draft pick, and they get. It's one of those things, one of those snake bitten franchises. Do you think the Clippers have like any? Is there? Can you see them pulling off a trade with Lance, or because he's about their only asset that maybe a team would trade for, where they could get something to help them in the front court on their bench?
I mean, to be honest with you, their best option probably is the buyout. Hopefully, if Joe gets bought out, and see what he can give you.
Oh, Joe Johnson. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I didn't really get why. I'm like, I guess. I mean, me of all people who just wants a title so bad for all his teams, you would think would understand the wanting taking less money to go play somewhere. That's $25 million, man. I don't think I would take less. Like, because you buy out, you don't get all your money, obviously. I don't think I could take the less money to play somewhere else. Because $25 million is a lot of money.
I mean, all right. Let's say he just loses out on like $3 or $4 million. You know, I mean, I'm saying it like it's nothing. You know, I'm the guy who freaked out against David West. You know, basically went something. But let's say he just he was like, all right, I like go $2 or $3 million, and I go play for the Clippers.
Yeah, well, if he gets a buyout, there's no way he's getting anything more than the minimum. Which he would take. That's what the Rockets got Josh Smith for last year, and that really helped them down the stretch. He's part of the reason. Yeah. Josh Smith, of all people, is the biggest reason maybe why they won the Clippers series and came back from, because he was the guy who started the comeback in Game 6.
Yeah, he did.
But the Clippers don't need Joe though. The Clippers have Joe already. They have an old, not necessarily Paul Pierce, but it's an old guy on the wing who's a decent shooter and can't defend. They need a wing stopper. They really don't have a wing stopper. Your favorite player ever, apparently, is their best wing stopper, Richard Batamute. He's their best wing stopper. And you can't play him. You can't play him minutes in the playoffs. That's not a good strategy if you play him.
Yeah. Right. I mean, you really can't play Joe and Jamal together.
Oh God, no.
And have Chris Paul as your point guard.
Yeah, Chris Paul is their best defender, but he's not. You can't stick him on Durant and be like, stop him holding 20 points. You can't do that.
Yeah, and you can't. I mean, you can't really put Blake on the perimeter either. He's not that type of defender.
Yeah, Blake has gotten better around the perimeter, but you can't defend anyone there.
He's not going to be able to defend.
They're they're the 4 seed right now. Yeah, the 4 seed, and right now I think they're matched up against Memphis, which is a win. That's a win automatically because there's no one on the wing they had to defend there. And Memphis has yet to realize that 2 is worth more than 3. Why they haven't picked up on that, I don't know. They draft these power forwards every year who never play instead of picking the best shooter available at like number 22 or wherever they are. But they rely on Courtney Lee to wed the ball from them from 3 every year, and they signed Vince Carter to try to help them with the 3-point ball.
That would be the perfect series for the Clippers. You don't need you really don't need a defender, because if Tony Allen's out there, you don't need to defend him.
Yeah, right now, that's how Golden State got rid of their problems last year when because Memphis took the 2-1 lead and everyone's like, Golden State might be in trouble here. But then that's when they put Bogut on Tony Allen, and they just had Bogut pretty much stay with a foot in the lane, a foot out of the lane, and just stop whatever came near the hoop. Conley is that team's best three-point shooter, and Conley shoots like 33% for his career or something like that from three.
Oh, yeah. Gosh. Dude, that team has, like, 3 guys in the top 20. And you're like, why are they not better?
Yeah, man. Gasol's usually best there in the NBA, and I don't know. But yeah, right, because the Clippers, that four spot is the most coveted spot pretty much in the West right now. Because if you get that, if you maybe the 5, but you don't have the home court advantage, if you get that 6, 7, or 8, you are done for. You maybe not even win a playoff game. And considering how much the West is weakened this year, there's definitely no way that the 8 or 7's winning a game. And I don't think the 6 seed will beat. I don't think Dallas. Yeah, Dallas right now is the 6 seed. I don't think they have a chance to. They might win one game against OKC, but that's not saying much.
You're right. They have no chance. I mean, if all the guys on Houston are healthy, who are they right now? 7, 8 seed?
Yeah, Houston's 7 seed right now. They're 25 and 25, I think.
Houston. I mean, okay, I don't think Houston could beat San Antonio, but they could give them a game or two. You don't think so?
I don't think Houston is so. I don't know what the hell they're doing this year. They're just Harden after having his "let me show the world I actually give a crap" year decided to just flat out stop caring again and be like, I'm gonna do me whatever I want to do and just dribble the ball for 20 seconds and then decide to pass it and then be surprised when the dude doesn't make the shot. Dwight, him and Dwight are done with each other. They don't want any parts of each other anymore.
Yeah. It's crazy how much they just ignored Dwight. Like it's like he doesn't even exist. I watched like 10 of their games this year. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. That's why that 4 spot is so coveted. That's why the Clippers need to play well without Blake. They have to keep the same pace. Hopefully, when they I haven't seen their upcoming schedule. Let me check it out here, because like you said before, they played nothing but tomato cans recently, and now that Blake's gone for 4 to 6 weeks, which is teams play like 3 games a week now, 2 or 3, at least 2, and that's a lot of games that you could potentially screw up. And their next game is against it might be happening right now, I believe, or tomorrow. No, it's tomorrow, which going into midnight. So sorry if I screwed up your day. But yeah, they're playing Minnesota, which is an easy one. Again, they got lucky with the
maybe Minnesota next.
Yeah, they need to play well in order to keep this 4 seed, because you fall to that 5 seed, and as much as we just crapped on the Grizzlies, it's hard to win a game at the Grindhouse. That they get rockets there for the playoffs. One of the tough places to play. So that 4 seed is really coveted, because at least, I mean, it is just whoever wins the 4 or 5 seeds walking up to the slaughter from Golden State, but you still win a playoff series. How many coaches lose their job because they lost in the first round of the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, no way Doc getting fired.
Yeah, but just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Doc, GM Doc might have a move to make this upcoming off season. See if he can do it. There are reports today from probably the best NBA insider there is, Adrian Wojciechowski, and he had 2 different reports about Kevin Durant. One being that the Clippers, when Doc Rivers would, if they were able to convince Kevin Durant to have a big 3 with Chris Paul, him, and DeAndre Jordan, that they would find any way they could to dump Blake Griffin, either sign and trade or just trade someone else or whatever, that they would automatically take Durant for Griffin, which is a no-brainer, because that's Durant is a top 3 or 4, top 2 player in the NBA at his peak, and at worst top 5 player. The other, I don't think that's very likely though. But the other report that came out from Woj, which this would be scary as hell. There were rumors about it last year. Is that the Warriors right now are the favorite to land Kevin Durant, which I'm not sure there would be a reason to have the next 5 NBA seasons if your defense is running off Klay Thompson, who then swings the ball to Curry, who then passes the open shot up to Kevin Durant. You would need Gary Payton, Michael Jordan, and Tony Allen in order to guard that team.
I mean, that would be the best shooting team of all time.
It would be ridiculous. There's unstoppable.
It would be ridiculous. Like you said, it would be ridiculous for real. And they would win like the next 3 championships without a doubt.
Well, I did see though, because I heard last year that they would have enough money to not have to get enough people. But I think because we don't know how much the max contract's going to be yet. We just know the cap schedule is about $20 million. They might have to renounce Harrison Barnes' bird rights. I think that, or they don't give him a qualifying offer, or they would have to trade the last year Iguodala's deal, which of course you trade Iguodala to get Durant. Yeah. And another one would be you'd have to use the stretch provision on Bogut, I think was the other one. I'm not sure completely, but I think they would have to make some moves to get Durant. I also think they might have to renounce Ezeli's bird rights. Would you do obviously you do one of those moves, but if you have to get rid of Iguodala and Bogut, do you then get Durant and risk ruining that chemistry?
If I know for a fact is 100% that Durant will come, I would do it.
What if you have to get rid of Ezeli and Bogut and you have no rim protection?
I would do it still.
But
I'll still do it.
I don't know, man. The rim protections, that's a very important thing in the NBA. NBA now is just 3-point shooting and driving.
Yeah. I mean, rim protection is important, but look, with those 3 guys, you'll be all right. And then plus, Draymond, crunch time, he's their center anyways.
Yeah, there's stuff like that, but as good as Draymond is, I don't see Draymond being able to stop Russ for the 20th time with a minute left in the game. Although, because Russ doesn't run out of energy, that man's an alien.
I can't see Draymond, shutting down like Marcus or anything like that, but
he did pretty good
in the game.
Yeah, Draymond didn't do too bad on last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, he did. He did it.
Did an admirable job.
Yeah. Well, if you could possibly have a lineup of Thompson, Durant, Draymond, and whoever the 5th guy is, you do it.
Yeah, I would assume if they have to get rid of Iguodala and a center, they would totally dump Bogut in a second and keep Ezeli. Ezeli's younger and he's got the better upside. Bogut's 32 now? Something like that?
Yeah, Bogut's up there. Yeah. He's up there.
He hasn't been
05 draft.
Yeah, 05, first pick in the 05 draft. And he didn't play in the finals much anyways, once because they had to find out a way to get rid of Mozgov.
Yeah, that is true. And I'm pretty sure they'll be able to find a shot blocker somewhere.
Yeah, I guess. They could draft a 7-footer with a 30th pick, I guess. But
oh my God.
Do you think that they break the win record?
No, I don't see them breaking it.
I do. I think they go 74-8. But as much as say again.
I think they're gonna lose 11 games.
Oh, that would be heartbreaking. Or I'd rather lose 11 than lose 10.
Yeah,
I would hate to tie it. But even with past 2 years have been all this Durant speculation. I really don't think he's gonna leave OKC. I don't see him leaving OKC.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the same thing about LeBron in 2010, man. But I don't see him leaving.
Yeah, but you can see, we haven't played the last playoff game yet, though. But after that last loss to Cleveland, you could just see it on his face. He was done with this Mo Williams is my second best player, I think.
Yeah. That Boston series, game 5, he was out.
Yeah. And Durant has Russell Westbrook and Serge Ibaka, and they paid all that money for Panther. But there were also reports earlier in the week that him and Russ could go to the Lakers possibly, which because that franchise needs more luck, and they're totally. That's not.
I don't see that.
I don't see that entrance.
I don't see that.
First of all, I don't see Kevin leaving, but if he does, I see Russ leaving. I do see if Russ leaves, I think he ends up in Los Angeles for the Lakers, not the Clippers.
Yeah. I mean, but if Durant does leave, I can see Russell leaving like a year later.
Oh yeah, Russell. If Durant leaves, Russell's gone, and that's I've told you about this prediction before. If Durant's gone and Russell's gone, that team is going to get really bad, and they'll probably trade Ibaka for assets, and they'll trade Cantor and all those other guys for assets. And the team will start to stink. And OKC is a small market. And when they first got the team, they sucked. But no one, the city didn't care because basketball. They're all hyped. And then by the time the shiny new thing started to lose its shine, they became a playoff team and got to the finals. Yeah. So you can see that small market, if they just start going through 25-win seasons year after year after year, no one's going to show up. The arena's going to get old and creaky. The owner's going to want a new arena, and the city's going to be like, you don't have fans. Why would you build you a new arena? Which is totally plausible. Yeah. And so my thing is, if Durant and Westbrook leave by the year 2028, they will no longer be the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they will be the Seattle Supersonics.
I think that too. It'll be hilarious because it'll be like, just Durant's career in OKC. They were in OKC. He leaves and they go to Seattle.
Well, he did play that 1 year in Seattle, his rookie year.
Yeah. Didn't Westbrook play in Seattle too?
No. Well, Westbrook was the first Oklahoma City draft pick.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Okay. All right, now we're going to move on to the All-Star game. Me personally, I don't really watch much of the All-Star game. I watch the end of the fourth quarter. My favorite part is the All-Star Saturday festivities and all the skills competitions and stuff like that. But we're going to talk about who made the All-Star team, who should have made it, who shouldn't have made it. Some of my biggest – I really don't have that big of snubs. I think they did a pretty good job this year. There's 3 guys where I was like, maybe you could put them in, maybe not. I think there could have been a case for Kemba in over John Wall, although Kemba, after being blazing hot on fire in November, has really cooled off and is not shooting nearly as well. Is starting to revert back to the old Kemba Walker. And my other one would have been Damian Lillard for Klay Thompson. Lillard's the only guy in the top 5 point scorers I think it's top 5 point scorers, who didn't make the All-Star team. And that dude has the Blazers at the 8th seed, which that team is a bunch of role players. I don't know how he's doing that. So I can see if you want to kick Klay off for him, I could see that. But Klay has really come on after a slow November, and the team has 44 wins, obviously. And someone argue who's their second best player.
Defensively, he's not bad, man. Like, he's not as bad as he's been a couple years back.
Oh, Lillard. Hard to watch on the defensive end. Do you have any snubs?
Dirk.
Dirk, yeah.
Like you said, Dirk deserved it.
Dirk's my biggest one. I'll get into Dirk a little later. But who's your biggest snub, if you have one? Yeah,
Lillard was my main guy.
Yeah.
In the East, in the East.
Yeah, some people are talking about Powell, but I don't really think Powell's an all-star. I just don't see it. It's like, why would to put Powell in over Millsap? No.
Yeah. Oh, Millsap. Yeah, I can't put Powell over Millsap. No way.
That's the most guy people want to replace him with. My biggest snub, this may be out of some spite, is Dirk, and I kick out LaMarcus Aldridge in a heartbeat. Now, again, like I said, some spite. I'm a Suns fan.
Yeah.
I'm still mad at Aldridge for picking the Spurs, my most hated rival of the Suns. But I got some stats for you. LaMarcus Aldridge this year is averaging 16 points and 8.5 rebounds. Not bad. I wouldn't say it's all-star numbers, though.
Yeah.
Dirk is averaging about 17.5 points, about 6.5 rebounds, 2 assists a game. Pretty even numbers. But the whole thing this year has been Aldridge is getting used way less in San Antonio than he was in Portland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got this number for you. Since 2010, the year Brandon Roy's knees gave out him, and Blazers lost a superstar, and Aldridge had to step up in his place. Since 2010 to 2014, so those 5 seasons, Aldridge's average usage rate was 27.9%. You know what his usage rate this year is?
Is it under 20?
25.3. It's a 2-point difference than it was in Portland. In Portland, his career numbers, he averaged 22.3 points a game, and it was since 2010 in Portland. Since he became the focal point of the offense, he averaged 22 points as Portland's main go-to option with pretty much 28% usage. While in San Antonio, where he's getting used way less, as in 3 percentage points barely, he's averaging about 7 points less, which isn't that much if you look at it, but you lose by 7 points is a lot of points in a close game. If you lose a game by 4 points, you want those 7 points.
Reason why they call him the Allen Iverson of big men, volume, low efficiency.
Yeah, you're the big analytics guy over here. You should. Didn't you say Aldridge wasn't that big of a analytics darling?
Yeah, he's not. He never been. He's always shot at the ball at 42, 43%.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest deal with Aldridge is too. You've seen it in the past 2 games against Cleveland and Golden State. The biggest games of the year. I know San Antonio Pop doesn't really care that much about regular season games, but Duncan didn't play. They had 0 rim protection, absolutely 0. It was Those guys get to rim. LeBron, whoever was there, LeBron took over in that third quarter. Once the very beginning when San Antonio started making their comeback, LeBron said, "Screw this," and just kept going at him. And Aldridge is not there. What are they going to do when Duncan's out of the rotation in playoffs? You can't play Duncan 40 minutes anymore. Boban is not. Boban, the human mutant, is not ready for playoff minutes.
Not Boban, man. Come on.
Boban is a scary look. Did you see that Tyler Hansbrough clip when Hansbrough went next to him on the free throw line? And Hansbrough first saw him.
I saw his hands compared to somebody out there. Oh my goodness!
In 2 or 3 years, Boban will be there, like Thiago Splitter, Fabrizio Roberto type dude, Antonio McDyess. But he's not there. David West, Boris Diaw, and Marcus Aldridge, those are the guys you're putting in the middle when Duncan's off the floor. It's not going to work. They're probably going to get stuck with a 2 seed, and Russell Westbrook will carve them apart. Yeah.
I mean, it's scary to think a 39-year-old is your best defender.
Yeah, I mean, there's Kawhi, but Kawhi, you're not going to put Kawhi. Not going to say, here, Kawhi, don't let anyone in the paint get a layup. You're going to say, Kawhi, go get in Kevin Durant's face and don't let him do anything.
Yeah. And then Duncan's the smartest defender in the league. No one's smarter than him. Some of the things he does is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, Duncan's the greatest power forward of all time, but I don't just for playoff reasons. I do not like the man.
Yeah, we all know why. This signature 3-pointer.
We're not even going to talk about that. We're going to move on now. We're not going to talk anymore about the Spurs. All right. We're getting close to the trade deadline here. It is February. It's officially February now. And the trade deadline is always, I believe, the Thursday after the All-Star break, right? A lot of names being thrown out there: Ryan Anderson, Taj Gibson, Pau Gasol, Joakim Noah when he was healthy, Markieff Morris, who now I do not think – well, there's still a
Insane.
chance he gets traded, but I do not think he's getting traded now because now that Jeff Hornacek is gone, him and Hornacek went at it all the time. They did not get along. Tonight, he just had one of his best games of his career. He had 30 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. That's definitely by far the best game of the season. I don't think he's getting traded, but I think there's definitely some other guys who could. Do you have any trade ideas? Maybe some that aren't out there as much, or some that are under the radar?
You know my biggest trade idea
The
with the
Kyrie,
Clippers.
and Paul thing is not happening, dude.
Dude, it's very possible it could happen.
Now, GM Doc and GM LeBron, as you like to call him, will not do that trade.
Really?
Yes.
You don't think GM LeBron would take it right now? That's like his best friend.
Yeah, but David Griffin, as much as LeBron has him by the balls, he can't mortgage the future for a 32-year-old point guard. And it's not even like it's not like Delonte West where he's having sex with LeBron's mom. He likes Kyrie. Him and Kyrie get along a lot. So I could see if Kevin Love was playing much better, I could see like a Blake for Kevin Love deal, but that's not going to happen. There's no way the Clippers would do that. But
there's no way.
You have one that could possibly happen for real.
One that could possibly. Let me see. I guess Miami would probably do something to get out Luau. Try to get something for Dang.
Well, my big thing is if they're trading Dang, I'm going to guess that Whiteside is with that package for contract-wise and for some incentive. Like, even if Whiteside leaves, you'll still have Luau Dang, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe you could probably do like a Whiteside Luau Dang for like Whiteside and Luau for maybe Ryan Anderson.
Yeah, Anderson, Miami needs shooting, man. I would not be surprised if they try to get out of the Josh McRoberts deal. I remember when all the Heat fans were so excited they got McBob. I was like, calm down, guys. You thought he was garbage in Charlotte. Why would you think he's good here? But I have some names. I saw today Channing Frye is Magic might put him on the radar, which would be a great trade for anyone. Frye is a great guy, holds the locker room together, and he's shooting 41%. He's shooting 41% from three this year. Him and Dragic, man. They had that pick and roll. If I was Miami, I would look into trying to get Channing Frye.
Yeah.
For some assets. I mean, they don't have any assets right now, but try to get something. Maybe Miami tries to get a backup point guard with Tyler Johnson just having surgery. Another name that I think that a lot of teams need to look out there. He's got a 1-year deal, so it's a rental, and I know it's just in baseball. He don't like to have rental deals. But Mirza Teletovic, the guy can't defend for crap, and he has there's no little voice in his head saying this is not a good shot. If he catches the ball, he's going to shoot.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But he's shooting 41% from three this year after a rough start. He had a rough year last year with all his blood clot stuff and didn't shoot very well. And he started off rough again this year. But he's really caught on. And after about the third or fourth week of the season, he really came back to what he was in 2013-14, which is a guy who's a very good shooter. If I was a lot of teams need stretch fours or trying to go to that style, I would look into getting Mirza just for maybe a couple second-round picks or something like that.
Memphis, if you're Memphis, why not?
My only thing with that is Memphis predicates himself on defense, and Mirza can't defend anyone. Like, do you honestly trust Mirza guarding Blake Griffin out there in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean they did play Bano a lot of minutes last year, right?
Yeah, but that's what Conley had his eye injury and oh god. Was it Ridnour got hurt too? Was Ridnour in Memphis last year?
I heard did he just get traded for like the 20th time, like yesterday?
I don't think he's not in the NBA right now. But yeah, what do you think about the Jeff Teague rumors?
They really like Schroeder. They really like Schroeder a lot.
Yeah, I don't get it really. Schroeder hasn't really shown me anything. He's Great fast,
Yeah.
got great burst. I think he's a ways away, and I don't think he's got the greatest basketball IQ. He gets out of control a lot, and even at his peak, I don't see him really much more than a sixth man.
Yeah. It really, I mean, it must say that he's future all star or whatever. I mean, I don't see it. Like the kid, like he's just like his IQ is not where it should be.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't. He's not like. He hasn't been playing basketball since he was like 5 or anything. He's mostly a soccer player, but still.
Yeah.
Do you think there is any chance of a Ty Lawson trade? Does anyone? I know he doesn't fit the protocol there, but Utah needs a point guard. Raul Neto and Trey Burke are not a playoff thing. They're not a playoff tandem. Do you? I mean, Houston got him for free, pretty much. They gave him contracts
Yeah.
and second round picks. Houston doesn't want him anymore. Like after the third week of the trade, there were reports Houston trying to get rid of Lawson. Is there
Yeah.
any chance someone like Houston or someone like Utah, or maybe even Brooklyn, who needs to get, because now Lawson's last year of his contract, it's not guaranteed. He's playing for free for you pretty much next year if he screws up in the offseason. The Nets don't really have. Do the Nets, again, that's the problem with the Nets, they don't have any picks. I was going to say, do you think the Nets could find a way to trade for Lawson and Dwight together using Joe's contract? But the Nets would have to give up something asset-wise.
Be Lopez.
Like, yeah, but they really like Clint Capella. I don't really see them giving up. I don't see them taking on a $20 million contract and then impeding Capella's development. Yeah, but do you think a team like Utah or a team that's close to the edge of the playoffs that needs a jump start can get to them? Like a team, like I know Utah is slow and plodding, but does Utah and Milwaukee, two teams that are slow and plodding but need a point guard, even though it doesn't fit the style, do they go after Lawson?
Is he a starter in this league? Really?
Yes, Ty Lawson's a starter in this league. That 2013 was it 2013 when the Nuggets won 52 games or something, and Carl was his best. You're telling me that dude's not an all-star or a star, not even an all-star, a starter.
Yeah.
At one point, the dude was top 10 point guard in the league.
I'll give you that. All right, yeah, I'll give you that. I guess he's just a really bad fit with Harden. That's the only problem.
Yeah, it's like Dragic and Wade. He's ball dominant point guards can't be with ball dominant off guards.
That's true.
As big as oxymoron ball dominant off guard is, it's true. Yeah, again, Lawson's not a good locker room guy. He needs to be in a fast-paced system.
I guess if you put him in Utah, maybe with Hayward.
They may be trading Hayward. There's talks about him getting the shaft out of there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there is. There's some whispers. I don't think it's anything serious. I don't think anything's imminent, but there's whispers of because his deal's up, not this upcoming year, but in 2017 his deal's up.
Oh, his rookie deal?
No, that extension. You remember when the Hornets matched the Hornets gave him the offer? And
yeah, the $70 million.
Yeah, that deal's up soon.
Okay.
But yeah, I really only see Milwaukee needs to do something. They need shooting. They need a point guard. They need to change something up if they want to make a run at the playoffs. Their time's running out for them.
They have like 5 guys who play the same position. That's the biggest problem.
They have a bunch of threes who can't shoot, and they just pretty much they start 4 threes who can't shoot. Yeah. Although Middleton can shoot a little, but yeah, they start 3 threes who can't shoot.
I mean, Jabari to the Celtics for the Brooklyn pick?
No, I don't think third or second guy in the draft is going to be as good as Jabari will. I don't think Brandon Ingram will be as good as Jabari.
You don't?
No.
I mean, there's some scouts who think Ingram's going to be like the next Durant. I really think.
Yeah, when did this draft class become so great all of a sudden? All of a sudden we got next to LeBron and Durant. even though
Yeah, I know, right?
and last year was the end all be all of draft classes since 03, and now this one's amazing.
I know, right? This year, Simmons is gonna be the next LeBron, Magic, and Ingram, who's like, a 60% free throw shooter, is gonna be the next.
Yeah, so we're approaching the trade deadline, so it'll be fun to see what some of these teams do. Any
You
last
think it's gonna be
comments?
as crazy as last year?
Man, I don't think anything could be freaky as last year. It was like 3:30, nothing happened, and then all of a sudden my world came crashing down.
Oh, dude, like half the league point guards, switch teams.
Okay.
It was crazy.
That's true. It was, and they all came from Phoenix somehow.
I know, right? How much did Isaiah Thomas get traded that day? Like twice?
There was like first he was going to Philadelphia, then he was going to Boston, then he was going to Milwaukee, and then he ended up with Boston. Yeah, a lot of weird things happened that day. Any last comments before we wrap this up?
I guess let's talk about Curry a little bit.
What's there to talk about? Dude's MVP, best team in the league, maybe best team ever.
You think he's like a little overrated?
I don't think he's best player in the league, but
Yeah.
But dude's hard to stop, man.
There's already was in it all. He's already a top 10 point guard all the time. I don't like that.
I already seen some lists where he's ranked higher than Steve Nash, and that's a no for me. I will fight tooth and nail that Steve Nash is the third best point guard of all time.
Dude, he's basically Steve Nash. I mean, they're the same player.
That's the only comparison that's even legitimate to Curry.
Yeah, he's basically Nash.
That's my boy, Steve Nash. All right, folks.
Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I pretty much got for now.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, that would just about do it for our first ever NBA podcast. Hope you liked the show. If you did, go down below, comment, and let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what could we improve on. You guys know the drill. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. Thanks for listening. Have a nice day, and we'll see you next time here on the College Guys Sports Podcast.